Well, recently Disney has come under a lot of flack from some mainstream outlets and, of course, a lot of people online and social media about their price hikes and how they're pricing out the middle class and many families' ability to go to the theme parks. Well, it seems either Disney didn't hear that feedback or they just simply don't care, as they've raised prices yet again, basically across the board from annual passes to tickets to dining and more. And we have an article here from That Points Guy, and we're going to walk through the price increases and get some thoughts on it. So, hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And it again says Disney World raises prices for tickets, annual passes, dining, and more. It says, according to the popular Benjamin Franklin quote, nothing is certain except death and taxes. If Disney World had been around in the late 1700s, Franklin might have also known there was a more certainty in life, ever rising Disney World ticket prices. It's true that Disney World ticket prices don't go up every year, but 2025 is one of those years. Overnight, Disney World revealed pricing for the 2025 holiday season, with the most expensive ticket type nearly teetering over the $200 mark. The cost of annual passes and certain dining experiences also went up. They priced the highest single-day ticket at $199. They are undoubtedly going to get that ticket over $200, which is wild to me. And we'll talk about in a minute the timing of all this. I find tone deaf on many fronts, but we'll continue here. It says for 2024, one day, one park Disney World ticket prices ranged from $109 up to $189 per day. In 2025, that price range will increase between $119 and $199 per day. It's the first time since 2018 that Disney has increased the base price for its cheapest ticket. The cheapest one-day park ticket has stayed $109 for 6 years, but in 2025, the least you can expect to pay is $119. Disney World's ticket prices vary by park and date, so this price applies to only Disney's Animal Kingdom on select dates in August and September, which are the cheapest months to visit. And here are the ranges for the ticket prices in 2025. Magic Kingdom, $144 up to $199. Epcot, $129 up to $194. Hollywood Studios, $139 up to $194. And Animal Kingdom, $119 up to $174. It says not all 2025 dates will be more expensive than they were in 2024, but based on the ticket prices Disney revealed overnight, you will be paying nearly $200 per person per day to visit during the 2025 holiday season. Of course, this means multi-day tickets will also cost more. A 3-day ticket at the end of December this year will cost you $498.20. Next year, a 3-day ticket for the same period will cost you $527.34 if you choose to visit one park per day. So the good news is that price to add the park hopper option to your ticket remains unchanged at $85. Annual passes also went up. So it says in 2023, prices for Disney World's annual passes ranged from $439 to $1,449 per person. As of Wednesday, those prices have increased by as much as $100. So now the Pixie Dust Pass is $469. The Pirate Pass is $829. Sorcerer Pass is $1,079. And the Incredipass is $1,549. Also, character dining and buffet meals went up. It says, for example, the character meal with Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and Eeyore at the Magic Kingdom's Crystal Palace cost between $48 and $61 per adult, between $30 and $40 for children ages 3 to 9 prior to this change. Now, you'll pay $52 per adult for breakfast, or $33 per child, and $62 per adult for lunch and dinner, and $42 for children. Other character meals, including Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest, among others, also saw price hikes getting close. I think those are in the $80 range. Individually priced items like soda, pretzels, popcorn, and cinnamon rolls went up slightly as well. I believe now it costs you $5.49 for a soda in the parks, at least the bottled ones. So you can expect to pay at least 25 cents, a dollar, or $2 more for several popular snacks and drink items with the latest increase. So you look at that and you say, oh, even if you're being the most forgiving toward Disney and say, well, it's not that much. It's $100 here. It's $2 here, whatever. Well, if you look at over time, this starts to put it a little bit more in perspective. So it was in 2006, a Disney World ticket was $67. 2011, it was $85. When my wife and I really started going to the parks together, it was around 2013 time period. That would have been about $95 per ticket. This is before they did high season, high busy time of year, slow time of year, and had different prices for those. 2016, you had the peak was $124, the low was $109. 2021, the top was $159 and the low point was $109. And now in 2025, the peak of this is going to be, they have it wrong here, but it's $199 with the low point being $119. So basically in less than a decade, the day ticket price has gone up almost $80 per day on everything else. So this doesn't even take into account food prices, which we've already talked about in a separate video, how Disney's food prices have far outpaced inflation, over 50% compared to what inflation is around 20 to 30% range there. Am I surprised by this? No. I mean, I'm really not. This is how Disney operates. They've been operating as if they're really the only ticket in town. And like I've said in other videos, this is unprecedented waters for Disney. They're not used to this level of competition and really the pressure and the attention that the media even is giving them for their price increases. And it's just, again, they had Premier Pass, they talked about that coming out last week. This perception of Disney being ultra expensive, ever increasing prices. They seemingly don't care about that narrative and just feeding into it at this point. And there's really I don't know how someone would defend it and say, no, they're not doing it. Now, you can be okay with the price increases, I suppose, but to say that they're not happening is basically just not admitting reality in the situation. And again, into 2025, Disney is, supposedly starting construction on, in 3 separate parks while they're raising prices. So in a period of time where they have more competition, and we saw the ticket prices from Universal for Epic Universe, which are not nearly as high as Disney's. And we priced it out in a video yesterday. We talked about a 5-day ticket package at Disney was over $3,400 roughly. And at Universal, it was about $2,200, $2,300. So you're even, if you're looking at a 5-day ticket package, including Park Hopper, right off the bat with those ticket prices before these new ones, you were saving over $1,000 by going to Universal, which has a brand new theme park that people are very excited to go to. And then once you take into account the hotels, which we pointed out as well, where you can save a lot of money on the hotels, you get better perks with the Universal hotels as they have Express Pass with many of the premier hotel options there. I don't even really know what to say about it. It just seems that Disney is just forging their way ahead, thinking that they're not going to have any issues with this. And I've said all along, I just am very curious going into 2025, what are they going to do? Because they've even admitted themselves on their fiscal financial report that they were looking at mid-single digit decline in revenue and profits going into the next quarter. If they continue to see that up until Epic Universe opens, and then when Epic Universe opens, I think they're expecting to see a bump from that. But let's say they don't see the bump from that. What do they do? Now, I'm sure they're going to have some, discount packages and things out there, but you're also talking about you up the prices and then you're discounting things a certain rate. So you're still paying more than you would have normally, if they didn't raise these prices. And that's really going to be the only thing that's going to draw people in. Now, they are going to do shows and parades, but I don't think that's going to sway anybody from, going over to Epic Universe to go check out a couple of shows and parades they have going on at, say, Magic Kingdom. And they have no new attractions that are going to open anytime soon, as they just announced all the things at D23 this year about it. Basically, that's a rebuttal for Epic Universe. It just seems anytime that Disney perhaps has an opportunity, they see all the backlash and people talking about the price hikes, they could easily come out and give a statement and say, hey, we understand it's hard financial times right now, and everything's expensive. Maybe at the very least, we're not going to raise prices right now. We're going to put a freeze on raising prices across the board. Even if they did that, even though the prices are still high, they could get some, people will be like, well, that was really nice of them to do that. Maybe I'll go back to Disney or something. But the fact that they're just raising prices yet again, and pretty aggressive in many of these categories, to do a character dining experience, which a lot of kids and families want to do, you're going to pay upwards of almost $90 per person to do that. So once you throw in a tip on top of that, you're talking, $400 some odd dollars to do a character dining experience. Some of these prices, they're just getting out of hand, I would say. And especially as Disney is going after this, they want to go after these very wealthy people with the Premier Pass and these new prices. And I've said numerous times, when you go after this crowd of people, they may come once, but these people also have options. They may go to Europe. They may go on a cruise. They may go on an all-inclusive resort. And Disney, while they've been raising prices, has been reducing the maintenance on rides. I can't remember the last time I've seen so many rides continually go down at Disney. You have a brand new ride in well, I say brand new, but a rethemed ride with Tiana's Bayou Adventure that is unreliable. And in lots of areas, the customer service is nowhere near where it used to be back in the day. So while they're raising all these prices, the level of service and value that people are getting out of their vacations is no longer there. And looking back at the ticket prices from not that long ago, when they were $124 per day, that also included the Magical Express, that also included free fast passes. So as the price has gotten up to almost $200 per ticket, that's just your entry level in there, because if you want the ultimate theme park experience, you're going to have to get Lightning Lane multi-pass and single pass, which is at the very least, if you have a family of 4, that can easily get into a couple extra $100 per day. So these ticket prices aren't even really the whole story, because the things that used to be included have now been pulled away from it, and those prices are going up. So it's almost like you're getting an increased tax by when you come to Disney, because the experience that you would have had in 2019 is nowhere near the experience you're going to have now, because of the things you have to purchase on top of it just to have an equal type of experience. But I would also argue during that time period, a lot of things they still haven't reintroduced since COVID. The value can still be there for you, but it's nowhere near the value that it used to be. And I just asked the question, numerous times. We've covered Disney World for a long time now, and we cover Universal Studios. And I just look at this whole situation and just wondering, like, at what point do people really start tapping out in mass? Now, a lot of people, obviously, I've seen the comments here and on our podcast, a lot of people have. There have been many people that have said they've been going to Disney for 20 plus years that no longer go because of the price increases even 5-6 years ago. And this is the amount of things that have changed in the past 5 years. I've felt all along this is a very short-sighted move to make as much money as you can right now. And especially, this is not surprising considering that basically Disney is a theme park company. They make movies, they have Disney Plus, but they make most of their money from the theme park, which last year was about 70% of the revenue. And they just continue to try and milk more of that and more of that, as they haven't recovered the attendance from 2019, but they've made more money by introducing Lightning Lane and Genie Plus and whatever you want to call it, raising prices all over the place. So they're making more money with less people coming into the parks, but I also don't think that is sustainable. Now, it could be if you're in a situation where you're the only player in town, nobody else had a similar experience to you. That's a different setup, which is, I think, what Disney is used to. But now with Universal getting much more stronger, Epic Universe opening this next year, and not only is it a brand new theme park offering that people are very much looking forward to, it's a cheaper option as well compared to Disney. So you're seeing this decreasing level of value and service at Disney while they keep upping the prices. I don't know where the ceiling is on this. I don't know where this stops. When you talk about multi-pass, are people going to end up paying $40, $50 per day for this? Like, there is a ceiling to some of this stuff. There has to be at some level. And it just seems that Disney is just determined to figure out where this ceiling is and then what they do when they get to that point. Like, my question is, what do they do if the attendance really does fall off in the next couple of years with Epic Universe opening, as they're going to be doing construction all over the place? And yet again, you're raising prices while a lot of your parks are going to be construction zones. And so, that to me also is just a wild premise. It would be one thing if these things were done and open and then they raise some ticket prices to help pay for these things, but you're basically paying more to get incomplete theme parks, on top of the fact that, in my opinion, you've been getting less value over the years. And then you've got a new CEO that's going to be coming, well, supposedly, if Iger ever, steps down, which I don't know if he actually will ever step down, considering his track record here. But, how's that going to look with somebody else new coming into this mix? Like, there's just a lot of questions about Disney. And I just feel like all of this price hiking and all of the stuff that they're doing is just such a short-term play. They're not thinking long-term, where I do feel like Universal is thinking long-term. I think they see the attitude people have toward Disney. And while, yes, Universal is not a budget option necessarily, it is cheaper. They do offer more value. You do get more things for your money. And they definitely have the perception that they listen to their audience. And I think that goes a long way with people. And as these theme park wars, especially in my opinion, they're just really getting started with the Epic Universe opening, I'm just very curious how Disney is going to navigate this, what the reaction is from just the general theme park audience when Epic Universe opens. Does Disney see the bump that I think they're expecting to see? If they don't see that, how much of a dip do they have? How long does it last? And what's the reaction to it? I simply just don't know the answer, because again, Disney hasn't been in this. But the fact that if they do see drastic, drop in attendance and revenue in the theme parks, that stock price is going to reflect it, because again, you see the big movie hits they had over last summer. That doesn't move the stock price. The theme park action is what moves the stock price. When they saw the little bit of a dip in the attendance and the revenue from the last quarter, the stock dipped under $100 yet again. So if that continues to go, that stock price continues to drop. And then I've said before, Nelson Peltz is still out there watching. He could easily come back into the mix and try and get another board seat for the third time around. I think this time around, it will be much more harder to fight off Nelson Peltz and getting a board seat, considering what we've seen from Disney this past couple of years. But if you are planning on going to Disney next year in 2025, you will be paying more for tickets, passes, food, water, soda, everything basically across the board. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about Disney World raising prices yet again? And how do you think this is going to affect them going into 2025? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.